Mayer goes on with the job, really lays it down now to Espiona and Zuzarella. Lifting is Espiona. Jamayo now, Fangirl gets the final shot at them. Espiona just in front. Fangirl over the top, went bang, good up.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm in studio with Roger Ramjet, Johnny Walter. How are you, mate?
Flying. Got my notes here. Notes of 3 things. I'm ready. Ready to rumble.
And just give the audience at home a little bit of a Captain Cook at the shirt. Roger Ramjet.
Roger Ramjet. He's our hero. Fighting thing. Nico's never heard of him. Channel 2 special, I think he was, with Super Ted and all those. He got me through my formative years.
Astro boy got us through a lot of dark times. But Nico Noonan, mate, you're on fire at the moment. How are you?
Well, I know nothing about Roger Ramjet, but Sounddown was good to us yesterday. So hopefully we can build off that into a big day of racing Saturday at Flemington HQ, DK.
That's it, punters picnic there yesterday, Nico.
It wasn't too hard.
First or second in the market nearly every race, wasn't it? And
yep.
Well backed and things like that.
Yeah, it wasn't too many prizes for finding a lot of the winners, but
but you still got to win.
You still got to find them, don't you, DK?
Certainly
So build off that into Lightning Stakes Day, Black Caviar Lightning Stakes Day. So big race day there.
Something that isn't really clear at the moment is the 2-year-olds. The picture around the Golden Slipper and the Blue Diamond, Metallicity, bubbles are just bursting, and there's just not a 2-year-old standing up at the moment, is it? It might go back to Coolangatta, and you might have to eat your hat.
What for? It's still a camel. I don't care whether it wins the Golden Slipper. Geez, I copped some hate mail for the Twitter. Like, is there going to be one decent 2-year-old pop up? Oh my God, they don't like giving their opinion publicly, but they like hammering you through the old DMs. Anyway.
Good handle on 2-year-olds. This is sort of your domain. You see him walk out, all over the trials as well. Is the Blue Diamond picture looking any clearer after the weekend for you?
I don't think it's as clear as I thought it was going to be. I thought sort of Jacquino would really stamp himself as sort of the top seed. I still think he is.
Until he walked out of the gates.
That's an issue, isn't it? Looking to a Blue Diamond, but if he can rectify that,
it wasn't the fact he missed the kick. It was just how slow he was into stride as well. That's a bit to work on.
I think that will be the difference between you getting, $3.50, $4 in the day to $5.50, because the market's definitely going to factor in that. Of what I've seen in the yard from all the horses, I think the Colts are better than the girls, even though the girls are rating better. I think the Colts just have a bit more class about them. I'd be Jack and O still probably on top for a Blue Diamond point of view. I think Sebenak comes right into the game now. We didn't see a dominant sort of win on the weekend. Yep. And probably Lofty Strikes in there as well, wherever the shoe missed, maybe 4th pick. But it'll probably just come down to barriers and the like for the Diamond.
It's $6 the field or something now, isn't it? It's still in the early market, so that's how it shows how cloudy it still all is.
Jack and O 480 at TopSport, Lofty Strikes $6, Revolution Miss 6, 7x6, and Miss Rosiano 11. Count the headlights. I think, Nico, you got maybe 40 to 1 or $26, a big ticket there. But yeah, if you can land on the bunny in the Blue Diamond.
You don't want to be backing a horse or chiming into a horse that's bad out of the gates in 2-year-old races as a rule, do you? Like, you want to be getting a pretty good premium.
Or, something's just definitely have to change with the racing pattern, or they're going to have to sharpen up Jacquino somehow. But Nick Price has a knack with 2-year-olds, and that's why we've sent our Rubik Colt to him as well. But Argentia was there was a bit of a tip around for it. I know you liked it, Walt. The Daily Gas found it, and I spoke to Nico just on the chat, and it paraded awful for him, but there's a lot to like about that horse, isn't there?
Yeah, the pattern was obviously in its favour, and that was kind of why your confidence grew during the day, even if the stable was adamant that it would improve significantly, which looks like it, everything, the yard and how it sort of pulled up half the race. Apparently had a good blow, so, there's only upside for Argentia, but it did have a pattern to suit, there's no doubt, that on the day, but it's a talented horse. Jeez, it was a good ride on Mallory. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride on Mallory. Brett Preble. God. Anyway, hope he retires soon, goes in the G-Boss camp.
And you said, awful parade, Argentia. Any more insight there, Nico?
Awful. It was fat, was it?
Well, it had a lot of condition on her, sweated up, just looked like she just needed a run. Yeah. And when they parade like that, they just generally don't win. And for her to sit last, put them the head start, I know she had the pattern in favour. She's given them 10 lengths at some stages in the race.
She was rare. Look, looking at the way the race was run, like it was run pretty good tempo, and to do that first, it's like they were the two race fit, good on pace horses, Scorched Earth and Asfura.
Yeah,
she's run them down first up. They're third up and fourth up or something. So
yeah, with plenty of improvement. So I think that just bodes well if you're an Argentia fan. I think she can go up and tackle, Fangirl and Espiona. Of what we saw from Saturday, they might not be as good, as some people were sort of saying. So, Argentia was spruiked to be the best Melbourne filly in the spring, and she still might be that sort of come the autumn off what we saw on Saturday.
You go, DK.
Oh, well, all right. So I've got a question for you and Walt, and then that's smart. Okay, so you got a race like I think what was the other race, Artorias and all that, right? So Artorias, they've gone out say 6 lengths below, and come home 5 lengths quick or something, and then Argentia's race has gone out 6 lengths above. Pressure race, more of a gut buster first up, you would think. What's your preference? So are you thinking maybe flat second up, or that really fast run race is going to bring Argentia on really fitness-wise, or would you rather it get home best last, 4 and 2 of the day? What's your personal preference?
I think
depends what it did, right? It depends where it worked. If it had been last defeats, Argentia had chimed in down the middle and sort of overcome leaders that were stopping, it's a lot different to if it was wide and working, and it's obviously very different how the race works out and where it does its work.
Yep.
But, from a history perspective, it's definitely easier to build off a slow run, zip home run into your next run with more confidence than
that's
busting like that. And you don't really know. But like ideally, you want sort of 3 weeks between runs, which is not normal this time of year because they're sort of running through a prep, aren't they?
Yeah, that's my thing. I see them, they're winning the race, getting slower. Where you like that thing, them winning the race or hitting the line, getting quicker. That's just but again, it's that fitness-wise, it's going to bring her an enormous, but she might need the 3 weeks.
And like Walt said, I think that's the main thing. If she's 2 weeks between runs, you might sort of have a cloud on. If she's 3 weeks, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Say if she backed up next week, it'd have a big, difference compared to the Artorias run who did nothing early. Charged home
in the autumn, though, they do make their plans and their programs. They're already mapped out, so that she might have had a race planned in 2 weeks, and then have a gut buster first up, and it's hello, we've got to run her in 2 weeks. She needs 3. That's when it can get a bit tricky, and then you got to use it. So anyway, just
pretty good camp though. They probably give her 4 or 5 days off and don't do much with her. Whereas they might have, if it was a slow run race and they zipped home, they might have given her a bit more work. I'm pretty sure they're adaptable enough to deal, and these sort of good horses get over it better than the shit ones too. Just don't worry about that. They've got a better intestinal fortitude than the lower class horses that lie down for 2 weeks after they have a run like that.
Yeah.
What about a horse like I'm Thunderstruck, Nico? He went to pieces behind the gates. He was a muck lather by the time they opened the gates there, and bit of a quiet run for him.
Yeah, very similar parade to Argentia. Towie sort of sweated up. It was a hot day. We did really sort of, like you said, go to pieces behind the barriers, had plenty of improvement, which Mick Price and Mick Kent Jr. said multiple times sort of throughout.
It was like rinse and repeat Sam Friedman, wasn't it? So they were saying the same things in all their interviews. Both horses are going to get out the back, be first up, need the run.
And the race shapes were like completely different. Argentia, as we said, fast run race leaders are kind of following in a hole. Tefane goes out super slow in the CF4. Like I'm Thunderstruck, Inspirational Girl will set massive tasks. Their runs relative to the race and to the day are enormous. I wouldn't be surprised at all if I'm Thunderstruck turn the table on a lot of those horses in the Futurity, Blue Diamond Stakes Day, and then, peaking right on the day for an All-Star Mile, which is, that's been their plan all along. As we saw yesterday, the star-studded field's been announced for the All-Star Mile, and he's in there. So pretty sure he's still around the favourite mark at the moment. So if you're a fan of him, there was definitely signs of improvement, and he wouldn't be dropping off, that's for sure.
No, it was just a nice clean out.
It's a cracking weekend this weekend at Flemington. We're going to do a little bit of our testing for the app and try and get maybe a test pilot punters club for Blue Diamond Stakes Day. Won't have a stream, won't have all bells and whistles, but we might try and earmark All-Star Mile for our next big stream in a month's time. But we'll do a couple of test runs and make sure the banking section of our app is hunky-dory with TopSport. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, All-Star Mile might be a really good stream, big grand final day, and that'll suit the way we all bet here. But Nico's going to have a look at Group 1 Lightning Day with Nature Strip versus Home Affairs. Roll the dice, I've got Profiteer. There's a couple of people that want to lay the horse to the place, I see, on the Sphere. Beat the Badman's back. He tipped the lights out at Adelaide, and we gave him a couple of weeks freshen up. And the Michael Hickmont stable, they've been going a little bit average in Adelaide, but the tide might be turning there. He's just starting to get a couple of winners, and he's got his eye back in with Jess Eaton. Mug Punter, he's back into it. He loves the cupboard, our man Mug. And he went bang on Saturday. He gave us the B set for his Mug Moral, but he's come out and tipped Mumbai Jewel on top at 850 and then highlights. And so it's just like that's the price range that he needs to play in. And then he gives us the $2.50 and $3 shots. So if you want his stuff, make sure you follow Little Birdie TV, and he tweets out his full set on our handle.
I did notice that the favourite was one off both of those horses, so I think he's just slipped and hit the wrong button. But good luck to the big fella.
He's doing well. We're going to have some more TopSport steamers. They found Profiteer. I don't think it's won 2 races in a row in its life, but some of the early money was for it. But first, Walt's going to have a look at Rosehill. But good news for me, I found the Weed Whacker and Manscaped, as you can see on my shirt. They're our new sponsor. Type in Little Birdie to get 20% off. And the Lawnmower 3.0 is my favourite. You can get the 4.0. But after a couple of big days in Melbourne, I tell you what, the Weed Whacker's done wonders for me. Walt, what are you shaking your head for?
Just trying to work it out, mate.
Hey?
Just trying to piece it all together.
Mate, they are the best. I can't live without Manscaped. It's definitely been a game changer for me. But let's have a look at let's talk a little bit about Sydney Snap Dancer. You're on fire last week. You were probably due on the show, and then Rise of the Masses, $3.85 the place.
Yeah, and then Mumbai Jewel was the only danger at 14. It was that wasn't all right. Don't worry about that. But it was all right. And Snap Dancer, well, if you're going to take 360 or whatever it was when there were 2 leaders in the race, as soon as they belted each other in the gates and came out, it came into about a 2-on chance, didn't it? So it was very nice to be getting 2-1 about the lone leader, and just too fit and too strong once it had the picnic in front. Snap Dancer, so it was a good day. Espiona
Fangirl, a lot of big players were heavily pot committed on Espiona, and then up Bob's Huey. What'd you make of it?
Huey, well, yeah, and he missed the kick, so it was a great ride. It's Bowman special. Sleepy just followed him through, forgot he was there, and got over the top of him. Tommy Berry's probably should have won B3, but that's Tommy doing Tommy things, and it's missed its chance, Jamea, to beat those sort of horses. But as I said, like the times of nothing special, but I think those horses basically were having a barrier trial. Chris Waller not real worried about unbeaten. He just throws them all in the races together. I don't think he really cared whether it was Espiona or Fangirl or one of his other 23 runners in the race that got the job done. They'll just all keep progressing through. And I had Paul saying the other day, was saying he'd take evens Espiona next time. I'm trying to work out where the argument is there. Like the winner's got as much upside as Espiona for mine, and there's a couple of others there. And if Argentia rolled up into Sydney, the fillies races are probably the most exciting things. The 2-year-olds, you could sleep through them. The Colts are nothing too special. There's a few Derby prospects around, but the fillies are handy.
And there's some good opportunities when you've got like a hype horse or a horse with a big following, and one of those is very elegant, and they bet crazy odds, think it over. I think it got to about $8 or $9. And Nico, you're the man for this one. What did you make of the very elegant run?
I thought it was good. Given the way the race was run and how far she was off the lead, I don't know if you could expect her to do much more. Like, I think she's shown probably in her last 2 preparations, she's an out-and-out stayer these sort of days, as we saw her, wins in a Caulfield Cup and a Melbourne Cup. She's just not as sharp early in the preparation.
Especially when they run along like that. Like, she said, as J-Mac said, she was just out of her comfort zone. That's
I thought the run was full of merit. She goes to the Chipping Norton, next start V, think it over. I think they're $3 each or 2 at the moment. I don't know if she can turn the tables on that horse, but I think she makes it a lot closer. Like, Think It Over had everything go right there on Saturday. 2 leaders go out. There's big margins. He's just in the absolute gun spot. Nothing else could pick up the pieces behind him. So I think she'll get a lot closer, but I reckon we'll see her best at 2,000 metres. There might even be every possible chance she does come to Melbourne for an All-Star Miles. Like, she's got to run if she wants it. So
he's starting
sort of way up.
When I was listening to Wallace say 10 days, 2 weeks ago, he was sort of, it sounded like a 20% chance. Now it's sort of heading towards like a 60% chance she's going to run. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Don't know if I could steam into her at the short price over a mile. I'd probably want another 2 starts under the belt or another 1 start under the belt.
What's the target? I don't really get it. Like, where should be impossible to place. The All-Star Mile just is the only race that makes sense. A set weights race with a, where she's a 10-time Group 1 winner or something insane against El Camels for the most part. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take it down there?
Nico's horse goes all right still.
Which one?
On Thunderstruck?
Yeah, compare the 2 at set weight. It's insanity, really. But,
it's
a good horse, but if she's thrown into that race for whatever it is, why wouldn't you be going there? Where do you put her? What else do you put her in? The weight for age races through? She's not really that sort of horse. Like, you're better off taking off an All-Star Mile than a Sydney weight for age race of mine.
I think the plan was sort of set her towards the Queen Elizabeth and then off to an Arc. So I reckon that's more in the back of their mind. How do we get her to that? That's like the grand final, the arc. So it's just a matter of how you got to get her there.
It goes to the arc for mine. He doesn't like taking them past Parramatta.
Snow Country Cup.
I love Walt's pricing.
Yeah.
It's sensational. All right, it's Rosehill. It's Quindrai Cup tomorrow, so make sure you head to racingwatch.com.au and you can get
Which cup?
Quindai.
Oh, Quindai.
How you say it?
It's a Quindai Cup tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it. I better get into that.
I reckon
I'll
you'll
write that
find
down in my notes.
Yeah, you'll find something there.
Yeah, well, it's a good one.
I thought you might do the race for us on here.
You should have told me.
Part-time.
Quindai Cup.
It's hard to get you full time now.
It is hard to get me, especially all this driving I'm doing.
Rosehill Race 5. Let's have a look and try and find one of Walt's best. Find a winner. Ned Whisky, haven't tried this yet. Probably had one on Monday, and I still wouldn't be able to tell you if I taste it or not. Benchmark 78 over 1100, and Abel Willie is the favourite here, $3.30. Nasturtium is $3.30. Marzu is $6. Zapateo is $6.50. Minx Moment $8. I've backed that horse before. I think it needed a steering wheel the time I backed it. But let's have a look at last start win in red of Marzu here.
So we've got the Triple Crown colours. I think it'll get a similar run, which is kind of why I wanted to say this. And this is Abel Willie, which is the favourite tomorrow, sitting outside it. Obviously, it had a bit of a wide run here and was maybe a bit less mature, more immature back in this day. But Marzu completely dominant over Abel Willie here. I don't think the Snowden camp was going as well, which is another reason why I wanted to show this replay and then show how it's trialled coming back, because I think that, most of the Snowden horses have had 3 or 4 lengths put on them since this period, and this horse has been gelded, come back trialled nicely, and we're getting sort of $6 for a horse that's going to get that perfect drop on the leaders on Saturday, and Abel Willie will be back and chasing again, I think.
Let's have a look at this recent trial there. It's jumped really well there, but it's under a stranglehold.
So, yeah, the main part I wanted to show is the start. I love it when horses, come back from spells and they're really bursting out of the gates and wanting to run, and he's had to, viciously restrain this horse. They've gone out pretty slow, so it's not a an exciting thing that he's had to restrain it so hard. They're definitely not going quick, but when he gets lets him up here, and he still never really gives him any rein, and he charges through the line, they do zip home, put a bit there is a bit of a tempo up the straight here, so a bit of merit in what he does, and I think that this horse is just going to camp. He'll jump with the Sturtium or whatever, sits right behind him, and he'll be challenging there at the sort of 200-300 metre mark, and I think he, the way their horses are going, there was another one there yesterday, Stoical, one first up for them. They're all racing really well, the Snowden camp at the moment. I think $6 is more appealing. I don't like Abel Willie. I think the Sturtium will control the race, and this horse will come at it, and I think one of the two of them will win.
What, have you got at evens or something?
No. We'll go to this horse even, settle down. No, I think that it should be sort of closer to 5-2 maybe, and 5-2 take your pick to zero, sort of Abel Willie $5 or $6, something like that. So,
what about you haven't listed the Hobartville, but Anamo's opened up $1.75 at TopSport Converge, $6 Silent Impact, $7.50. It's off the map. It's been, I think they bet 20 some places and $11 at TopSport, and then Ranch been 9 out to $9.50. Halal's $12. Any initial thoughts in that one?
I think the 20-1 Silent Impact was insane. Tim was actually considering trying to get on this run and switch back to Converge probably when it got to the big track. So the insanity price has sort of disappeared, and now you've got Reggie instead of Tim. So a bit of balls of steel there. But he'll head forward and he'll run well, Silent Impact, but he certainly missed the boat with his price. Animo, $1.70, it's just not a $1.70 horse for me in any race anywhere. It's a very hard horse to get a handle on. So he needs a bit of luck in his race, especially around Rosehill. It's a very tough race, the Hobartville, for mine at first look.
Nico, you got posted Animo on your Dunny Door, $1.75. Are you playing?
Yeah, he's a hard one to catch, isn't he? Animo, as we found out Blue Diamond Day last year. But I thought the first that run was full of merit. I was kind of hoping you get evens, not $1.75, but you're just going to have to see how this track's playing. He's not going to put him in the race, is he? Huey's going to be getting back and hitting the line, which was probably to his detriment last start. And, if you got Converge and maybe Silent Impact are up there setting the pace, and maybe Ranch Hand goes forward, he's not going to just have to get over the top of, slugs. They got a bit of ability. I'd probably chime in and say $2 if the track's playing fair on the day. But, leave me out of probably tomato sauce.
DK, anything there? You like winding the boys up?
No. Well, I had a good handle on Animo. I potted him at like $1.70 and he got beat, didn't he? So that everyone was Azza and all that were on here declaring him that day. But anyway, that was my time in the sun with him. I'll leave it to the better judges than me.
He's a bookie's horse, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
and that's
find
why
a
they
good price.
they're going to put him up short, and people multi him up. But
You'll get evens. You'll get evens.
Yeah, you'll get evens for sure.
I mean, the early markets have taken another turn. I mean, we haven't spoken about it yet. It's probably a subject maybe for next week or something. We discuss it more. They've taken another turn. We've only been in 2022 for 2 months, and they've taken another turn. You could say for the worst, but the sensitivity in the early markets is just absolutely insane. So as my subs and that are finding, but anyway. I think Bagman sent the same tweet yesterday, sort of saying some Wednesday prices just disappeared into thin air. So, anyway, we can talk about it another time.
Not real happy. The rest of us has been in 2022 for about 6 weeks, so DK's just chiming in late there. He's obviously speaking about his service. So, ducking and diving at the moment. And bookies are playing nasty games, and it's really hard to catch the early prices. But racingwatch.com.au, as I mentioned before, is where you can get more of Johnny's stuff. It's great insights in there, and you see all sorts of...
the Discord chat there the last few little one-liners in and out. You love it.
Yeah,
you love to just duck in, throw a one-liner, throw a little bomb, and then disappear. I love it.
Well, that's my game. I'll have to start
there's some
doing
interesting characters. There's even something for DK there.
I'll have to
feel like you live vicariously through all these other characters in Walt's chat. So if you haven't got a life, some of these guys, they're just living the rock star lifestyle.
Mate, they love
it. It's just unreal.
I love it. 24/7. They're sitting there, and I love it. They start prompting people who don't even really, they just sort of float behind the scenes. They'll be like, they'll remember that DK tipped a winner at this Hanging Rock meeting last year. They'll be like, Hanging Rock alert for DK. They don't even know who they are. It's great.
And the Jungle Drums are beating for DK to join our Discord channel, so I might have to try and steer DK and Nico into a Little Birdie one as well. But it's good banner, and we'll start to crank it up. We'll start to have more punters clubs and more streams and things going on once this app's sorted, and it's going to be a massive, massive year.
Walt was just mentioning the Rockstar lifestyle. I think of the show I watched last night. Now, we all love a rort, right? We all, it's only a rort if you're not involved. But we're in racing. We've seen it all over the years. I found the Tinder swindler last night. You found it yet, Scoot? The Tinder swindler.
No.
Well,
you shocking show.
Oh, is that the bloke about the cats thing? Donate cats?
No. He's literally he gets you, takes you on the private jet, takes you for the full experience, and then a week later, he's listen, my credit cards are out.
He talks all the glamours anyway. So go and find it. The Tinder swindle. If you love a rort, he's pulled some trick there.
He poses as the son of a diamond billionaire everywhere he goes. Yeah, and then they find his mum in the back of some bloody toilet block of units. And you're like, no, not my son, piss him off. That was great, pretty funny.
Yeah, the Tinder swindler. Netflix, find it.
That's the homework. Now I've been bogged on maths, so I've been suffering in silence with that one, which is it's a terrible series compared to the last one.
Survivor all the way. Survivor's on fire.
In our Discord chat, we have the Rort of the Month, mate. It's the only award we have. It's every month, whether it be a trot rort or anything that's looks too good to be true, they get points for.
All right, now it's time to talk Adelaide with Shane Adair. Beat the bag. Welcome to the show, Bagman.
Good morning, guys. They're just practicing a bit of April Sun in Cuba, like our beloved Prime Minister. So, the Morrisons, I'll be joining their RSL tour very shortly.
Bagman, I love you, mate. No, I tell you what, I love your little snipe the other day. Peter Moody was blowing about Caulfield overwatering the track last Saturday, and you just chimed in and said, is that the same bloke who had Black Caviar's barrier shifted next to Heady Angels, and the race was absolutely put on for the great mare? He's got a short memory, hasn't he?
Certainly has. I think, Pete probably had a point with what he was saying, but he's happy when the rules work to his favour, but it goes against him. The big fella's not happy, but he makes the racing colourful, and we should be all on racing Twitter so we can see these blow-offs.
And I love Michelle Payne. She just stirred the pot and fired straight back the other way. Was there much chat on track about it, Nico? Everyone bluing?
I sort of saw Pete having a few kind words to a few people, and even
exactly like Josh Spokes.
He was just didn't seem like a happy customer, but even sort of before the CF4, he still looked like he was in a bit of a mood, and then Lightsaber missed the start by about 4 weeks.
So would have set him right off.
Day just got worse and worse.
Tipped him over the edge.
That would have tipped him over the edge.
We would have had none anyway, the way a track race. Anyway.
We've got a couple of feature races over now. We've got a benchmark 66 and 64 to get stuck into. So put the ukulele down there, Bagman, and let's just spear into race 2. The Junction benchmark 66 over 1,300 metres here, and Fonsalette is $3 here, and Predetermined $4.80, Fox Gem $6, Scampton $8, Strike Eagle $8. They're the horses in the market. And the horse that we're going to have a look at's got a bit of DK, DNP about it here. Fonsalette in the blue with the white epaulettes back in the ruck here. Bagman?
Yeah, this is Fonsalette's last start. This was his first start this day for the Michael Hickmont yard, formerly trained in New Zealand. Look, there's a little bit of chatter on social media about the run. It was held up unbelievably a few times. You can see just running up behind the whole straight. Probably should have won by about 2 or 3 lengths. Goes to a benchmark 66 today for 3-year-olds. Still a maiden, but brings across very strong group form from New Zealand. It was heavily backed this day. Markets went up at around $4.60 yesterday. I was too busy twiddling my thumbs and logged on, and we're already into $2.60. So it's been found. The money's on. I think it will go very, very close and win better races than this. So race 2, Fonsalette from the Michael Hickmont yard, Scoot.
DK, there's a horse here from the Moody yard, Scampton from Kite and Kilmore. What can you tell us about that?
I can tell it is it's a blue blood, so it's very well bred, retained by Coolmore, and it's not much good. It had its birthday in that Kite and Maiden the other day. I don't know. They're trying to obviously get some sort of metro win any metro win, a Saturday win, even though it's only benchmark 66 3-year-old for its breeding page. But she's not much good. The one there that's going to affect things is Predetermined, who is second favourite there and been ticking along all right over here. But she's in tomorrow night at Moonee Valley. Now, this is what. So she's 30 to 1.
Here we go.
Yeah, trainers. This is trainers. So she's 30 to 1 at Moonee Valley. She's $5 over there. Now, I had a horse the other week, Frostwood. Frostwood was in it. It was $2.50 on the Thursday at Kilmore and was going to jump straight to the front and win Mad Leaders track. Kilmore always is. And it was $26 at Sandown on the Wednesday. And where do you think they ran it?
The Wednesday?
Yeah, it ran on the Wednesday. What are you doing? How do you explain that to the owners? So we'll run it at Moonee Valley where it's 30s, or we'll take it to Adelaide where it's second pick 4 to 1. So, that might affect the price again for you if Predetermined gets scratched. But the smart thing would be to run it over there. But
you'd hope he did run because he's not blessed with ability.
No, he's pretty one-dimensional, isn't it?
He's pretty one-pace. We're seeing a fair few sort of Melbourne apprentices head over to South Australia. I wonder how that's sort of impacting, especially Campbell Rawilla, who sort of
got me the other day.
12 months ago. He was absolutely airborne here in Melbourne. Good. He was the man in the hot seat. Now he's gone over to Adelaide. I've seen he's rode a few winners. How are we treating Campbell over there, Bagman?
Very positive at the moment. He obviously gets the full claim. More than capable in the saddle for a 3-kilo claimer. He'll get plenty of opportunities. I expect him to knock up a lot of winners in the next 6 to 12 months, or however long he stays in Adelaide. Our apprentice ranks aren't super loaded with talent, I'd say, overall. So he'll get plenty of opportunity, and I'm sure he'll boot home plenty.
Now, Michael Hickmont, Bagman, obviously this is a Hickmont horse, and we've sort of we had some discussion, probably not on the show, but spoken about how he won the premiership last year or something like that, and then he's regressed. Maybe all his horses reached their mark, and who knows what happened, but he's not even in the top 20, I don't think, this year. But seems to have had a few winners in the last few weeks, so tide might be turning.
Yeah, I definitely think so. He said, I think it was roughly 3 winners in the last 6 months, and now 4 winners from his last 8 starters. He's loading up the fields on a Saturday with some very strong contenders. We're obviously not too far away from our carnival either, come April, May time. I think the team is just peaking nicely. I think he's definitely a stable, like the Philip Stokes yard, Tony McAvoy, Will Clark, and the big guns are starting to come out to play now. And I think he's definitely a stable that we can follow over the next weeks and months ahead.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like just horse placement. Someone was talking in the Discord chat with Anthony Cummings. Starting to place his horse a lot better. And
once you start putting maidens in maidens, they're harder to beat.
but I actually think the Snowden yard seem to be placing their horses a lot better as well.
Yeah, well,
Their horses are going better, but they're placing their horses in the right races.
That's right, and not throwing them straight in the deep end like this Manu. It's won a listed race coming back into a benchmark 74 or whatever. They're not throwing it straight into, the Group 2s or whatever, which are easier to find this time of year, and giving them barrier trials. They're trying to win on the way up, which is good.
And if you can pick up those patterns, like Bjorn's an out-of-season trainer, he seems to go good at this, this time of year. There's different patterns. So, and as you guys say, some horses just find their level, and then trainers are running out of ideas or running out of races because they've run out of horse because it's hit their ceiling.
Absolutely.
All right, let's have a look at Morphettville Race 5, the Terry Howe Printing benchmark 64. Top bloke Terry, 1550 metres here, and Sky Call's the favourite here for the Will Clarkin yard, and Ben Price, another apprentice there, getting 2 kilos, $4.20 into $4. Tully's Gold, $4.60. Ambi Dazzle, $5.50. Comfort Girl, $7. Does It, $9.50. And Lakes Folly, a horse we'll be back before, is $11 from the Michael Hickmont yard. And the horse we're going to have a look at here is Sky Call in the blue with the yellow cap and leading Bagman.
Yeah, Sky Call well back this day too, and from the wide gate was sent straight to the front, and with the Bet Doctor's own Kayla Crowther in the saddle, it was basically getting the queue. Very, very strong to the line. This was a benchmark 68 this day. Comes back to a benchmark 64. Again, drawn wide. I think they'll go straight to the front again. Not a heap of speed engaged, and as you can see, it was very tough through the line. It was already another one that was sniped early when Marcus also went up. So maybe the Eagle has been lurking around there because he's snaffled a nice price. It will go to the front. Be awfully hard to beat with the claim for Ben Price. And I think it's a winner there for Will Clarkin.
Ambi Dazzle's got Kayla on it. Any reason why she'd be jumping off, or Clarkin just wants to take the claim?
I think it'd be a little bit of that. She's also indebted to the Philip Stokes yard. So goes out with young Tommy. So I think she's just keeping sweet with the family there. I think also the claim for Ben Price would be also another factor there for the Clarkin yard. Look, Ben does well. I think he'll just still sit on there and take it straight to the front and won't have to think too hard. And hopefully we'll get it home for all the followers.
Okay, so Bagman on, Eagle on, and we'll be chiming on also with Sky Call, but looks like you found another absolute red light run with Fonsalette in race 2, and it's soothing that DK doesn't like Scampton, the blue blood from the Peter Moody yard. So I'll be charging then.
He's a negative also. Man, though. You got to throw that in. My guy identifies me as negative, but you got to always take 10% off for DK because you're always over negative.
You just pass the negative hat around. Maybe it's all of us. Maybe we're all bitter and twisted. That's why we're here.
Remember
100%.
It's as you get older. Remember Lambourne was saying the same thing. We spoke to him last time. It's just as you get older, you're looking for a lot more negatives stick out, and it's just the way it is. I know that's why I suppose they call us grumpy old men, or what they say when you get older. But anyway, it's more the negatives than the positives. Glass half empty.
So you hang around Gord for 10 years, you'd want to neck yourself, wouldn't you? But anyway, we move on.
Oh, you just can't help yourself. You might have to get Bagman on the ukulele. You might have to get on the tunes and cheer us all up. But thanks, Bagman. Hopefully we'll be getting in the queue.
Thank you. I'll start practicing and look out for the Morrisons coming to a venue near you.
Our show is brought to you by puntingform.com.au. You'll start to get positive results if you jump across to them. They got the best online database, and it just sits up in the cloud. You've got all your notes, and it's just unbelievable stuff what you can do with their sectional times, and you can confirm what your eyes see. So, as DK was saying before, you can spot the horses like Artorias that sit off a slow tempo and raw home, and you can work out the puzzle in more depth there. So I think it's $2.97 a month, but if you want to take the next step to become a professional punter, definitely give puntingform.com.au a try, and Shane Baker will give you a little tutorial too if it's all looking like Chinese for you. Let's get straight into Flemington with Nico. I don't think we'll go back. We've probably said it enough about last week, and let's just start going straight into race 1 at Flemington on Saturday. It's good to be back at Flemington. It always feels like it's been an eternity since we raced there, but the market here is Crystal Pegasus for the Waller yard. Walt, you might have to help us out with this one. $3.90 there. Russo is $4.60. Tycoon Beck $6.50. Playoffs is $8.50. Red Kelly is $10, and Tiger $12. Guizo, another honest run last start, $16, and much better the rest. The replay we're going to have a look at here is Crystal Pegasus for Nico. Take it away.
Yeah, stepping on Walt's toes a little bit here, but this was his last start win, 2,000 metres. This was second up in the preparation. His first up run was good over 1,500. Got J-Mac here, went around favourite, and he was just a bit too good for him. The second horse, Casino Kid, has a real dive at him weight, and I think that was just purely because Crystal Pegasus was probably a bit out of his feet, 1,500 up to 2,000 second up. His best runs are kind of when they go fast up in front. He had a really big win at Kembla Grange last preparation, a benchmark 78 when they went quick. Second to Wicklow, the start by prior, they went really fast out in front. I think he could find a faster run race than what he found sort of his first two runs in Sydney. Gets J-Mac, and he's against a pretty limited bunch here of Melbourne stayers. I think he's a horse on the way up. And like I said, if he finds that fast run race, he could just be the strongest of a lot of them, 2,000 metres under the belt. So I thought you could definitely mark him shorter than sort of 380. Red Cali for Moody. He's absolutely fine moods. Maybe he's the improver of one good Australian run at Moonee Valley out of a fast run race. But yeah, there's not much in it from terms of Melbourne form. So looking for the old DF might be prominent here. And I think 390 currently looks a pretty good bet.
I was just driving in here this morning. J-Mac was on the radio, and I don't know that, or Sydney form, whatnot. But what he said about it, and now I love your tipping it. I just want to be on it after what he said about it.
What did he say?
Right, it's going to very promising. Going to race through the grades and potential top liner. So,
well, it's a fascinating race when you look at it. Like Russo won last start at Moonee Valley, but the start prior he got beaten 8 lengths by Casino Kid, who was taking ground off Crystal Pegasus there. Crystal Pegasus 390, Russo's 460. So you sort of compare that Sydney form. I know Walt's probably more across it than me, but it does look like pretty strong.
I didn't like it the other day because it was second up and it had that Casino Kid, and it was probably lucky for mine to beat it. But regardless, it went well, and you'd expect it to bounce off that. The Waller horses have not been performing well second up as a rule for me, and then they're bouncing third up, and Russo is legless. So if it's won a race in Melbourne, it must have been very well placed, and that horse has got so much upside on Russo. Like you say, it would, unless it's getting 10 kilos off it, I can't see how they're in the same stratosphere price-wise.
All over it, Nico. Yeah, ticket approval down here. J-Mac, how's J-Mac going?
Good. And actually, the other funny thing, like Tim said to me yesterday, it's weird. I'm booked for Crystal Pegasus Saturday week in Sydney. It must be going to be retired because they never book any Tim in that a week out. But now it makes more sense. He's on J-Max on it on Saturday in Melbourne. So unless it's going to back up 7 days later in Sydney, Timmy will be getting the scratching fee. But anyway.
All right, let's have a look at the Premier event, and they're pumping this one up, aren't they, on .com? And so they should probably. The Black Caviar Lightning, odds courtesy of TopSport, 1,000-metre event up the Flemington Straight. Absolute crackers, this one. And it's Nature Strip for Jamie, our Jamie. We didn't make the list, fortunately, but 240 out to 270. Eduardo 380. Home Affairs 650. There's where J-Max jumped off Nature Strip to ride this one. Masked Crusader 950. Profiteer, the roll the dice horse 950 in from 11. G-Tra 15 into 13. The Inferno, interesting runner here onto the big straight. $21. Swat's at 41 and the Astrologist $41.
Mate, your mates, I know they're your mates, the roll the dice mates, but they've accidentally slipped. The fingers hit the wrong button. They've accepted in the wrong race here, surely. Surely.
No.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
It couldn't be in a worse race for mine. Like, it's just, how is it $9.50? Oh, and I know you said I haven't looked at it. That's the first time I've seen the field, but.
Well, Jamie was going to follow it all carnival, and then I guess that's probably the giveaway. She's just jumped straight onto Nature Strip. She thinks the horse is going really well, but
well, they need to find the
if you get off at Nature Strip,
it's merry-go-round. It's a jockey merry-go-round here.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I just it couldn't be like those horses will just. They're just like high pressure horses, you know what I mean? Like that Profiteer needs to steal a section somewhere, and it's not going to against these horses. They just 1,000-metre machines.
Colt, obviously, but DK.
Yeah, it's a jockey merry-go-round. That's the first thing you notice is with J-Mac. I mean, he's obviously he wants to stick with Home Affairs for the whole prep. Said J Card off that onto that. So it's just it's a good jockey merry-go-round. But yes, I would have thought he's got his work cut out. Profiteer.
Well, J-Max retained by Coolmore. So
okay.
I doubt that he would have had. He may have. He's that powerful. He probably can ride whatever he wants, but he's definitely retained by Coolmore.
Okay.
All right, thoughts here for the we've got his Everest replay, but thoughts, Nico?
Yeah, well, I suppose the Everest, most of the horses in this race that are under single figures bar Profiteer were in this race. Home Affairs back to Nature Strip's inside, Eduardo coming out in late, Masked Crusaders there, G-Tra's there. This is 1,200, bit of a different ball game to Saturday over 1,000 metres. But look, I ended up marking Nature Strip favourite. I think their trials and jump outs, I don't know, for mine, they just all went pretty well. So I think it's going to come down to who's here with the most intent first up, and that may be Nature Strip or Eduardo, given their sort of fresh horses anyway. Nature Strip won this race last year. I think it's a little different scenario to that, where they kind of half a grand final this race last year because they didn't really know if he was going that well. I think this preparation's more geared towards, later stuff in the autumn, but they're all sort of like that. I had him sort of 250, Eduardo closer to $5, then Home Affairs around $6. Look, it's a really tough race. I don't think it's a race you can find a massive edge in from a betting point of view. The edge might come from a mounting yard point of view, sort of 10 minutes before the race, and maybe the market sort of starts to take shape after a few of the syndicates, yard watchers start to get involved there. But for the way I'm currently looking at the race, I think Nature Strip probably sits outside Eduardo. They go head-to-head. Profiteer is definitely going to camp off him with what we've seen in the trials. They're trying to teach him to settle a little bit better. I can't really see how he's going to run past him if he's behind Nature Strip Eduardo. Home Affairs, his Everest one was a bit baffling. His other two runs last campaign were enormous. If he brings the figure he ran in the Coolmore, he is right up there with these top-class sprinters. He's got to do it against him now. He's had one crack, maybe you forgive that. But now he's got to come back and do it. I thought he trialled and jumped out great, but I do think he may be a bit better over 1,200 metres. So, yeah, Nature Strip on top. Eduardo probably second pick. I'm probably not saying much that the market's not telling you, to be honest.
Just very, very quickly, two others just on the fringe there. G-Tra, loves Flemington, loves fresh. He knocked off Nature Strip 2 years ago.
He's a good fresh horse. I suppose people go back to their run, I think it was in the Premier, 1,100 metre race at Randwick, and G-Tra was in the lanes that day behind Nature Strip and Eduardo and didn't have to do as much work as those two in the run. I know you could probably come into him at sort of $13 if you really wanted to. I about marked him that. Masked Crusader is the other one I'm going to ask you about. He has like a Chautauqua feel about him. Yeah. Chautauqua just flashed home and won this race by a half head, looked impossible. He's going to have to do the same if he's going to win this race. But
1,000 metres is not it. But 1,000 metres down the straight, he doesn't have to give him that big a start.
He could just be a straight horse. Look at all he sort of runs.
Straight line speed.
Like he doesn't corner that well. He doesn't get out of the gates that well. But when he's just in a straight line, that bend down the sort of, he's winning the Heath at Caulfield over 1,100 metres was a massive win. Straight line speed down the stride, straight line speed down the straight. So
he's chasing. We've got the best sprinters in the world. We have here, so he'd be chasing some real good horses. But I reckon he's in for a big prep. That horse.
It's a great race, absolutely great race. It's going to tell you a lot of things heading towards the autumn. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Home Affairs was able to sort of get over the top of him and really stamp himself as one of the better sprinters, but I think $6 is probably his right price. He gives me a bit of like a Fastnet Rock kind of feel. He's one of the best types I've ever seen in the yard, Home Affairs. I saw him in the Coolmore and was just absolutely taken by him, as you'd expect from Coolmore. But he really could be the real deal this autumn. But he's going to have to come out and show it on Saturday. Absolutely great race. The back end of the Flemington program is really tricky. So hopefully we can get one away early with Crystal Pegasus. But that's a great race. If you're a racing fan, you're mad if you're not tuning into the Lightning, that's for sure.
I think the best way to tackle it would be Nico's Mounting Yard Mail. You can get it for $25 a week, or if you subscribe to a long-term package, you can get it even cheaper. It works out to be about $17. But that'll be a no bet for me until I get Nico's last-minute thoughts, because I think you can, as the boys sort of suggested, you can throw a blanket over those runners, and depends up on which horse turns up on the day, and maybe a pilot error might decide, or a gun ride might decide the result of that race. But it's not a race that I'd be chipping up in. I'd rather chip up at maybe Goulburn today, or an Adelaide race, or one of Bagman's sticks there. But the Corindi Cup, if Walt can squeeze out a winner there. But make sure you follow Nico's stuff. He's back on board and he's on fire of late. Revolutionary Miss he had on top last Saturday at $12. So he's fishing around the market, and I know a couple of very, very smart judges who love when he pots a favourite, and if they're not parading that well in the yard. Someone who hasn't been parading overly well, but I'll tell you what, he's on holidays at the moment, Muggs Morrill. I think he's going to turn the corner this week, and we'll get Walt to confirm.
Hi guys, Muggs Morrill this week, coming live on holidays from Southwest Rocks. This week's Morrill for the Mug is in race 10, number 3, Dadrin. It won very good last start at Warwick Farm, jumped, led with James McDonald on board, and it looks like doing the same this week with Timmy Clark from Barrier 1, good weight, bit of weight, but it looks fit, ready to rock and roll. So it is 3.30. Looks like a good bet. The mug, it's a mug's moral. He's been on holiday, so I tried to do a bit of form today, but I did one race 10, number 3, Dadrin. So good luck, boys. What does the mug say when he finds a winner? Go find your bookie. Good luck.
Tell you what, Southwest Rocks, it's in between Hat Head and Scott's Head. I've been to Scott's Head for a holiday, and that's where, Mug's Southwest Rocks, and it is an absolutely cracking joint. You been there?
Yeah. Spent a bit of time there.
I reckon it's an uncovered gem up there.
Plenty of them. They've all skyrocketed. They've all been found now, but yeah, nice places all up the coast.
And what about his tip there, race 10, number 3, Darge and Timmy Clark?
I actually liked it until about a minute ago. So gate one's probably its only little query. J-Mac sort of bullied him from gate one last start, and I'm sure Tim will try and do the same thing on Saturday, and he's probably got enough upside to do that. But he only needs even luck from that inside draw, and he'll be going pretty close. I'd say he'll be pretty well back too. Just looking at the horses behind him in the market, they're all pretty much pack chasers. So I think they'll signal him out as the one they want to try and get out on in the last.
So already been 3.30 into 3.10 at TopSport. Let's have a look at some of the TopSport steamers, but that could be another little shifty one there once Walt pushes out to his subs. But they found Profit last week was just incredible to see that horse win 2 on the trot. But Flemington race 1, number 9, Vegas Night. Nico, 500 at 21, donation or bet?
Could be map inspired. He's probably set to peak now. I think he's 4th or 5th up in his campaign, but he needs to lift off what he did the other day for sure.
And then the next one here is Flemington race 4, number 7, Castilian, 500 at $20.
I nearly tipped this, to be honest, on the show. I thought this was big odds, Castilian, off his jump outs. Not really a camp I love getting involved in, but they are really turning the corner. Corsons, aren't they? Troy and Leon. They're like a whole different army than what they were before. They just seem to be winning a lot more races sort of the last year.
Yeah, no, they're getting bigger and bigger, so... Yep, no, true.
I really like that horse's jump outs. I think him and Friedman's horse, Latvian or Leviathan or something like that, I reckon you could probably back both of them in that Talon Dirt at big odds. The debutants, they look right in the game.
And the other one here is Rosehill race 6, number 15, Cytheria in the Silver Slipper. You allowed to talk about this race?
Yeah, Snowden North that won. What did he set up outside the leader and won there his debut? Whose favourite is it? The filly down the bottom's favourite there. She's
Queen of the Ball.
She's coming off that Dynamite leader track where, that Revolutionary Miss come out from behind her, but, everyone's sort of trying to work out how many lengths you take off or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how they measure up. Can't knock it.
$8 into $6.50, that one. All right. Feels like we zipped through this week's show rather than last week.
Well, DK only got out of reverse for about 2 minutes there. So he strapped in for a minute or two, but he's reserved it all for next week.
Yeah, he started to steam for a little bit there.
Just a little
Not
bit.
happy
Just a little
with
bit.
The bookies at the moment, DK.
No, not it. No, we're going to have to a new plan of attack there, maybe. But anyway, we've just got to keep finding winners. That's
Could
the
be
main
a
thing.
big week for the DK out wide. Bendigo, Benalla,
Benalla, yeah.
Ballarat.
Yeah, and Monday I think is the Terang.
Terang, Stall.
Yeah,
Stall's
all
not
that.
bad.
Yeah, that's all my joints. So black shorts on. But Benalla tomorrow, we'll just wait for the markets to go up there. Looks a good opportunity there, possibly.
Something for the punters.
Anyway.
Well, this is like what you're saying. It's nearly impossible. When do you bet? You can't bet pre 9 a.m. You bet at 9. Now they crash. You bet what do you wait till 6 minutes out? Otherwise, it's there's no such thing as a real market. It is a big big problem for anyone in similar situations.
Trying to turn some cash over.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when do you bet? It's very very difficult.
And try running a service, as you know. Running a service and having a bet. They
go $7 to 9 to 4 in 1 minute in 2 spins. They go $7, $5, $3.20. Oh, good, thanks.
We keep saying it, and we spoke about it last week, but bookies at the moment, they don't have to employ a heap of staff, and they've all got their robot odds on, and they just flick the switch and they can turn it all off with their algorithms and
put up 140 for the next 3 hours.
But as a punter, you're not allowed to use a bot to place multiple bets at different joints if you want to push the button and get on. So that it's not a level playing field. And it needs to be addressed.
Well, it needs to be evened up a little bit. Yeah,
it's very hard to sit there with multiple tabs open and just go click, click, click. You need 3 or 4 screens, and by the time the price just goes.
And they can reply with, "Sorry, we already laid it to Nick, so we don't have to bet John," and that's a happy reply. And then if you want to fight them, you got to go through to try and get on, and then the horse has got to win.
And then, but if you use a robot to place the bets, then they can ban your account and turn you off.
Completely.
So they can buy. Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, We're
I
all
blame
whinging,
DK. If DK wasn't back in so many early winners, we'd all be sweet. We'd all be able to get on.
That's DK's fault.
I'm going to have to grab the keys more often, as you boys would say.
Grab the
might be
keys,
the way.
That's it.
Start the car. All
Start
right.
the car.
Make sure you check out Little Birdie Live if you want any of DK and Nico's stuff. You can jump on the subs there. And, well, everyone is absolutely seeing them well. And hopefully you're destroying your bookie. And make sure you give TopSport an uppercut. They give you a fair go. They won't ban you if you had a good run. But that's a wrap from us. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.